welcome to Opening Arguments. This is Vapid Response Wednesday. I'm Thomas. That over there is real-life immigration attorney Matt Cameron. How you doing, Matt?
I am jazzed to talk about the Fox News hosts who are bringing us World War III. That's what we're here for today.
World War III, brought to you by Buy Gold! Or some other
VPN,
well.
yeah.
And Lydia, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing okay. I would say I'm not as excited to talk about this stuff as Matt is apparently, but I mean, we're going to have some real pieces of work on our screen pretty soon. So we'll see.
Matt Siegels, how you doing? I actually love the Siegel. They are a beloved character of the show now. That we have a crucial Siegel update, everybody. Matt was telling, is it okay? Siegels, is it okay if I said? So before the show, Matt was saying there's construction, and that quieted the Siegels down, which has me worried. Like I felt bad when you said that. I was like, oh, that's their rightful territory. They've earned it, you know. But I think we hear them. Yeah, we hear them. They're right back to their old squawks. Their old squawking. They're totally back. So that's everyone can rest assured.
During this very recording, they will probably be back, but they're quiet for now.
Yeah, I already heard them. They're good. I was telling Matt I'm going to try to mic them, like get their own mic. You know, I want to hear them in full. It's delightful.
Stereo, just kind of soothing the ears.
Just making the background.
Yeah, that's
great.
Nice.
All right. So we've got some fun stuff in, it's not really fun. Like you said, I mean, I think the only thing that's fun about it for me is now every time I see or think about Hegseth, I just think about what's his name from SNL.
Colin Jost.
One of the, that's one of the better.
So good.
It's the writing. He doesn't have to do much. Like he just.
He has a good look for it, though, too, I think.
Yeah. So good.
I love it.
Rarely has a character been captured so well.
And there's so much Hegseth right now, right? Because we're coming up on almost a month since the war that's not a war in Iran.
Yeah, he's got a lot of wars going.
So he's, on camera a lot, which means we get a lot of call-in on Saturday Night Live. So that's good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But as with the Kristi Noem episode, I had to go back and listen to his books. Not just one book, but 2 books. I've listened to way too much of these books, and now I'm going to make you do it too. We can learn quite a lot about Pete Hegseth and the situation we're in right now. I really feel like these books should have been raised more as confirmation, maybe. If it would have made a difference, I don't know, but it would have been good. They're pretty psychotic.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. First off, I just want to see the process of writing that book. Like how many adults had to help him?
Yeah.
Like how did he, did he just dictate it to his mom or something?
A lot of 6-packs, a lot of late nights. Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. So Pete Hegseth, let's see. What else? Did we tease everything else? Got a fun amuse douche.
Oh yeah.
With another one of our favorite MAGA Fox News characters, Janine Pirro, in a truly unhinged press conference. It's actually a very historic press conference, so we'll talk about that in a minute. And then we have to go back for a classic Vapid Response moment to January 2023, when James Donald Vance is telling us about why he is voting for Donald Trump, specifically on the issue of war.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's obviously aged very well, and we'll take it away.
I mean, it's so good that we didn't elect Hillary, because then we would have been in this war a little sooner.
Who knows what the Middle East would look like right now?
Yeah.
Everything's stupid. All right.
Hence, Vapid Response.
Yep. Yeah,
Hence
exactly.
why we're
That's
doing
why
this
we're here.
Slot. Yeah.
And another reason why we're here is our amazing patrons at patreon.com/law. A lot of people loving that video game duo of episodes, the Subnautica lawsuit. Folks, if you haven't listened to that, you got to listen. Part 2 is already up for patrons. It is
Lucky Ducks.
That is a thing, Matt. Sometime we got to talk about. I want to get your thoughts on that, Matt, at some point, because I can't believe this CEO of that company is using AI to try to screw people over with something that important, like that much money. It is just, if you want to see bad things happen to bad people legally, you got to listen to those episodes.
Yeah, it's too bad. I loved those games. They're really beautifully made. But it does fit into an ongoing theme in Opening Arguments about idiots using idiot AI, garbage in, garbage out. So
right.
Well, I think this was good news if you're a Subnautica lover. I think it may be good news there for you.
A little bit of justice.
But those amazing patrons we thank are Hall of Famers. Those are the $5 level and above who pledge at least a month. And we thank them each and every week. And it's so much fun because some of them change their names and do funny things. Some of them have consistent names that we've enjoyed for, many
8
years. Yeah, however long it's been. So we'll start with our first third here. Thank you to the Ruth Bader Ginsburgler. My house is a mess, but I read a lot of books. Dominic Gillespie, Matthew Cutler, autistic Twitch streamer, Veterinary for America 2028, One Man, One Vote, Unremarkable, Christy Double Tap Gnomes Goat Fences Inc. It's a great business idea. Amina, Donna Treadaway, Mother of Herodins, Mike Lipinski, No X in Nixon. Oh, good. Okay, that's a palindrome.
Oh,
No X in
nice.
Nixon.
Well done.
Cyanitis. AI marketing is anti-worker propaganda. Gray preponderance of the evidence. For a resurrection lasting more than 72 hours, please consult your doctor. Apprentice of Adventure. Charlie Kelly, attorney at Bird Law, probably a real person. And Nick Fish. Thank you, top patrons. We'll take a quick break and then we'll get into it. All right, Matt, what do we got here?
Okay, so here we have a decision from Judge Boseberg. You might remember, of course, from all of the immigration litigation. Great judge from what I've seen in the District of Columbia. So we've got the U.S. Attorney's Office. This is a very unusual thing that has just happened. So, of course, first of all, the extremely unusual thing they were trying to do is criminally investigate Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve. So that was their first mistake. And we all know, and I think we all understand at this point, that the investigation of Jerome Powell is just completely political, that Trump didn't like the way he was doing interest rates and he's trying to threaten him, basically. So there were subpoenas that they were trying to get, criminal subpoenas.
And that's the only thing standing between Trump and a booming economy. Really. It's just the only thing.
One guy.
If you would just adjust those rates a little, give them 0.25%, we're booming.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. So we've got quashing. We've got some attempts to quash these subpoenas.
We got quashing.
We're trying to
said that like it was a recurring. We got quash alert.
I know we appreciate a good quash on the show.
Yeah.
So we're playing around a quash. We have two different subpoenas that were issued to him.
Sorry, I'm just... I scrolled.
I thought for a second this is what the judge was writing, but no, he's quoting
like,
Trump.
Give it a few years, a few more Trump appointees, we may have this.
There have already been Trump judges that write as bad as this. We've seen it.
Totally.
Okay, sorry, that just caught me by surprise.
This is once again a judge using Trump's words against him. His stupid social media posts, Truth Social. More than 100 statements in which he's directly attacked Jerome Powell and talked about how he should have a job and whatever. So this is extremely unusual because it's very hard to quash a subpoena and by saying this shouldn't have happened. This is super political. You're just trying to investigate me because you don't like me. That doesn't happen very often. But in fact, Judge Boseberg had to find that clearly everybody understands that Jerome Powell is being politically persecuted and that they're trying to prosecute him for disagreeing with the president. And so there's two different subpoenas. There's one about his testimony before Congress and there's one about the renovations that Trump is saying cost too much. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay,
it's so
as he has his stupid ballroom and not even built in the background.
Unbelievable.
And I mean, as the rest of this episode will show, the U.S. government has no trouble spending money right now. But
so they're starting to have trouble spending money.
Yeah, that's true.
They're starting to need a little help there with the military budget.
So Boseberg quashed these two subpoenas and said they could not go forward with this criminal investigation. Wow. And Janine Pirro, who is, of course, to remind everybody, former Fox News host, the one of two former Fox News hosts we'll be talking about, who's helping to run our government today. And
for the listeners, that we should say this, the I don't think we read it or anything.
No,
the opinion
didn't,
starts. Jerome, too late, pal, has done it again! Exclamation points. He is too late, all caps, and actually too angry and too stupid and too political, all caps, to have the job of Fed chair. He is costing our country trillions of dollars. Another way. Space. Too late. Oh no, that was okay. That's just the normal cap. Oh my God, this is so.
Yeah, no. Put another way. What he calls Jerome Powell is too late. Too late is his.
Too late is
his nickname
his
for
nickname.
Powell.
Okay.
Yeah. Put another way, too late.
The amount of effort that's
loser.
put into inaccurate punctuation is like staggering. Like he's doing like comma and then like a single quote or whatever. Like is a capital's total loser, and our country, capital C, is paying the price. Okay, so that's what he. That is one of at least 100 statements that the president or his deputies have made attacking the chair of the Federal Reserve and pressuring him to lower interest rates.
That's
this
crazy.
Just keeps happening over and over again. The judges quote this ridiculous bullshit in these decisions because it's just so obvious. Like you can't miss. There's no nuance to what he's saying here, right? So he found there's a mountain of evidence that the dominant purpose of these subpoenas is to harass Powell, just for the purpose of no other reason, and that obviously this is political, and that he's making the very unusual step. He's going to the step of actually quashing the subpoenas. So we're going to hear now from Janine Pirro and what she has to say. There is a 20-minute press conference we're not going to watch very much of, but we're going to watch the last few minutes when she really just hammers it home and makes some really good points. I'm sure you'll find.
I go to full screen and it just pushes play. That's cool. So helpful. Everything in the internet is so helpful now. It's all so helpful. AI, everything doing bullshit that I don't want it to do. Hasn't it gotten great?
Thanks, Obama.
Anyway, and shitification of everything. I guess we'll play it now.
Years ago, I'll deal with the devil. I'll take a case from the devil.
What?
If you can give me information that will lead me
Ma'am, this is
to
a Wendy's.
possibly find a crime.
Okay.
It doesn't matter where a case
Possibly
comes from.
find it? What?
It doesn't matter. I can have a suspicion. I can read the newspaper. I can just want to make sure he didn't commit a crime. So don't make the judge is wrong on his dates. He is wrong. That's why we're not only appealing, we're making a motion to reconsider.
Wow.
Good luck.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
just the way she's saying openly, I don't even care what your evidence is. I'll do whatever it takes to find this guy committed a crime.
Yeah.
This is incredible. This isn't even the good part. This is just a little intro
Oh, it's not
for
the
you.
good part. I thought
no,
you
we got more
like
coming.
You wanted me to stop. Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I just want to say that.
I want to say one more thing, and I think it's important that you guys hear this from me. There's another way of looking at this, and that is that it's not just the public being fed up with this stuff. It's the fact that what we've got are grand jurors who are supposed to hear this.
Just find the paper you're looking for.
What any of this because someone has decided that they're not
She fishing through her purse?
entitled to hear this. Can you take
what
this? Thanks.
What
This
in the world?
process has been arbitrarily
Her professional phone answer.
undermined by an activist judge. We have a process. We have been asking for information about a matter that has raised questions in many people's minds. Senate banking, the public, the papers, it doesn't matter.
No one gives
So
a
give
shit.
me the information so I can assess it. Give me the information so the grand jury, comprised of regular Americans, can say, there's nothing here. And I'll accept it the way I accept other cases. Okay? Whatever
I like very
it is, we'll
dynamic
abide by
speaking
it.
technique, single out someone to make eye contact with in the audience. That's good. Really grabby.
What we don't accept
Wow.
is a
Podium.
judge standing in front of the door of a grand jury blocking our access, a role that has never been envisioned. A role that will now be used by other
That's what he's
defense attorneys
for.
around the country who's going to come in with a
Yeah.
client and say, oh, my client is being targeted. Don't you dare go in the grand jury. A judge says, yes, the guy's bathed and washed in immunity.
Bathed in music.
What?
Go after him. The process should have been allowed to run its course, and it wasn't. And shame on
She's
them.
broken the podium.
Oh, cut it out. Do you know how many
what was
convictions
the- I
we've got?
couldn't-
Cut it out. You're in one lane. We have cleaned.
What was the
you know-
question? I couldn't hear it.
and
Hold on.
shame on them. Oh, cut it out.
Yeah,
Do you
she
know how
makes
many
too much noise.
convictions
I can't
we've
even-
got? Cut it
Cases in
out.
her office,
You're in one
something.
lane. We have cleaned up
lane?
this city. Yeah, historic,
Cleaned up
really?
this city?
I'll tell you what's historic. What's historic is that I prosecute everything other than 10% of the cases, where the United States attorney before me didn't prosecute 67% of the cases. That's what's historic. I'm willing to take a not guilty. I'm willing to take a no true bill, because I'll take all the crimes and put them in. Thank you.
Mic drop.
Wow.
I mean,
Podium
there's
drop. She should have dropped
so
the
much-
Oh,
podium.
yeah, just
push
knocked it over.
Yeah,
This
Like
thing's
a cat.
broken. The judge
to
broke
unpack
my
here.
podium. Getting in between me and you.
Man.
of all,
Chaos. That was just
mean,
chaos.
Incredible. I mean, the idea that first of all, that just now defense attorneys are going to think of the idea that maybe
Yeah,
protecting their clients
yeah.
because they're being targeted when you are in fact targeting people. And you said at the beginning of what you just said, I'll do whatever it takes to find a crime here. Right? So
Yeah,
maybe that's
let's
something
finish
defense
the
attorneys-
sentence. Now every defense attorney is going to use this for their client, ... whom Trump has tweeted about 100 times.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, for every single one of those, they'll probably do that. Maybe some that he's only tweeted about 50 times too. They should probably try, I would say
I think that's reasonable
at all.
I think it's reasonable for them to raise that as a concern.
And
like if that's actually happening.
A fucking TV idiot to go prosecute someone. I think they probably, should have a good defense there.
Crazy.
I mean, the idea that a good prosecutor is somebody who brings all of the cases they can possibly bring that are in front of them versus, carefully weighing with discretion what you should actually be able to go forward on. She's like, I'll take a not guilty. I'll take a no true bill. I'll do anything. Mm-hmm. It's just,
Such as the sandwich trial.
Insane. Yeah.
Such as the sandwich trial. Yep.
That's how we get a messy sandwich trial.
Brought to you on Gavel Gavel Pod, by the way, going through the sandwich trial. New episode is probably out as we speak, but if not, very shortly thereafter. Yep. So we are going through that sandwich trial. It's fun and tasty. I'm hungry. What's
Brought to you by Janine Pirro. Couldn't do it without her.
Oh, boy.
All right. So that's our Amuse Douche for today. And we're going to move on to less fun topics of looking at the war and sort of some legal angles, and also just sort of looking at how people talked about this stuff before we got to our present situation. As we were recording, the war is really heating up. Things are not going well. And this is all completely inevitable.
Which is weird, because I think we've won it 2 to 3 times now.
And not just that, they're in the middle of peace talks, he says, right now, that they're negotiating and it's going well. War?
I thought it was 1, but it seems to be more than that, which is odd. Is it like, how many have we done? Is it like we won first round? Yeah, Is it best 3 out of 5?
A 7-game series.
Yeah, because we're up 2-0. We're going to sweep this war.
Yeah. No, he said we are having peace talks if we can find somebody that the Israelis won't kill first, basically, to negotiate with.
And then he's also announced, though, that they're sending troops over.
Yes.
Like 1,000 troops, I think.
But also we've already
won. I still think about boots on the ground or not on the table every day of my life. It's my favorite thing. Did we ever get that exact quote right? I want it tattooed on my arm. Boots on the ground or not off the table. It's so good.
Oh, man.
But anyway, then we got, and this was John Oliver, of course, doing the best bits where it's like they're going to land on that little island maybe. Yeah. And they're like, well, it's not boots on the ground.
Boots on an island.
Count? Yeah. Right. So they're wearing flip-flops. We put them in flip-flops. They're not in boots.
They're not actually in boots?
Crocs, actually. I think Crocs would be great for war.
Oh, camo Crocs, too.
Yeah, camo Crocs, for sure.
One of the Trump promises that I think a lot of people may have actually believed was that he wasn't going to start any new wars.
Yes.
And so Donald Vance, now our vice president, is pledging his allegiance to Donald Trump based on that premise in the piece we're about to read in the Wall Street Journal. So this is...
Oh, you mean this one?
This one.
He has my support.
Yeah, let's read that one.
He said before, I guess, he was VP candidate, which is kind of funny to look at in retrospect.
J.D. Vance says, he has my support in 2024 because I know he won't recklessly send Americans to fight overseas.
Oh, and the headline already say the main title? Or
Trump's best foreign policy, ? Not starting any wars.
Yeah.
Good start.
Darn, well, we got his second best foreign policy. Oh, well.
All right. Try to make some sense of this opening.
Zelensky is the...
Yes. Little scroll to look at here. Yeah. Little distraction.
A few days before America's 2022 midterm elections.
Helpful. Sorry, I have a thing in my disable. Never display. Go die. Is there another option? Die in a fire. Everything is so helpful. God. Okay.
A little sneak peek into Living with Thomas, everybody. A few days before America's 2022 midterm elections, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky accused Russia of firing a rocket into Poland. It was a claim with extraordinary implications. Poland, member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, benefits from the alliance's Mutual Defense Pact. An attack against one is an attack against all. Mm-hmm. The U.S. would plausibly have an obligation to respond militarily to a Russian attack inside Poland. In making the accusation, Mr. Zelensky was pushing on the dominoes that could start the world's first war between nuclear powers. The rocket attack, it turns out, came not from Vladimir Putin's Russia, but from Ukrainian air defenses. Even after NATO made that assessment and acknowledged that Russia hadn't fired the rocket, Mr. Zelensky continued to deny Ukrainian responsibility. The story faded from the headlines, and Mr. Zelensky enjoyed a hero's welcome in Washington in December.
Oh, man, that's almost as bad as bombing a school, killing 150 children or whatever, and then saying maybe they did it to themselves.
Yeah.
That's almost as bad as that. It's actually not even close to as bad as that.
I agree. American taxpayer money has continued to flow to Ukraine. A wiser foreign policy wouldn't have let such conduct go unnoticed.
So this is his opening story. The opening paragraph is about a mistake. This was just a mistake that Ukraine didn't actually realize this is one of their missiles that had gone astray. It took a while to figure this out.
Oh, so that's true? That's actually,
that is
he
true.
said a true thing?
And
wow.
Yeah, but I mean, Zelensky wasn't lying. He just didn't know at the time that it was actually not Russian, and there was a lot of confusion. It took a while to figure this out. I mean, it's not easy to track everything. So I guess his point is that Joe Biden should have smacked Zelensky down and refused to support Ukraine because he was misrepresenting.
Well, yeah, because Putin's never said anything untrue.
Right.
So you look at the two
shooter.
sides and you're like, man, well, one of them said a mistake thing.
Yeah.
It's incredible that this is what he's got, I guess, against the Biden administration, is that we're too quick to believe Vladimir Zelensky.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and it's like, why would that undermine the fact that, the poor Ukraine, honestly, I mean, they're doing their best, but that couldn't have happened at a worse time, and it's mainly our fault, I feel like. I mean, it's just the worst time for that to have happened, because I feel like any other time in the past 30 years, well, forget that, past what? I don't know, 60, 70 years, we would have been all in on supporting them against Russia. And then, I mean, I guess that's why they waited that long.
And now we've got J.D. Vance in the White House yelling at Zelensky that he's not grateful enough in that meeting.
Oh my God.
So pathetic.
Yeah.
The only thing that comforts me is that, and I, we shouldn't make predictions like this, but I don't care. There is no fucking way J.D. Vance is ever going to be president. There's just fucking way.
Hope?
There's no.
He's too pathetic.
There's no way. Yeah, he's just not it. My only fear is that he did do his nice guy routine in the debate with Vance, with
Walls.
with Walls.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess if he tried to pull that off, but if he tries to pull that off,
now
in order to win the primary,
record.
he has to be Hitler Jr. So he would have to pivot from Hitler Jr. to being nice to everybody. I don't know.
It would be insane, honestly. I don't know. I hope that is an accurate position that we're taking there. Bipartisan foreign policy consensus has led the country astray many times. Leadership in both parties supported the invasion of Iraq, the decades-long nation-building project in Afghanistan, regime change in Libya, and guerrilla war in Syria. All of these policies cost a lot of money and killed many. None of those conflicts has served the nation's long-term interest. Very few were ever challenged by a leader of national significance. That is...
Syria thing is interesting. So we should have... I mean, I'm not exactly sure what he's referring to, but I mean, I feel like it was probably good to try to support the citizens who were getting chemical weapons used on them by Assad.
Didn't cost us that much, I don't think, relatively speaking.
Sure it didn't, yeah.
It's probably a humanitarian mission at that point.
There weren't even any Crocs on the ground in that one.
Yeah.
That is, of course, until Donald Trump came along. American partisans view Mr. Trump's record primarily through a domestic lens. To my fellow Republicans,
But he's also awful on other things.
To my fellow Republicans, Mr. Trump lowered taxes and worked hard to deregulate the federal bureaucracy.
Yeah.
To Democrats, Mr. Trump was a corrupt narcissist who earned his 2 impeachments.
Mm-hmm.
Yet neither party acknowledges perhaps the most important part of Mr. Trump's legacy, his successful foreign policy.
Mm-hmm.
My entire adult lifetime has been shaped by presidents who threw America into unwise wars and failed to win them. I just started high school when George W. Bush was elected president, and his presidency is the first I remember with any detail. Mr. Bush allowed a just war in Afghanistan to turn into a nation-building quagmire and then started an unjust war in Iraq. His successor, Barack Obama, doubled down on nation-building in Afghanistan and launched a new war of his own in Libya with the enthusiastic support of then-Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
I get it that you can, criticize Obama for stuff, but it's it's fucking Bush. But if it weren't for Bush, who started all of that, Obama inherited, at that time, I specifically remember the Iraq war was obviously way unpopular, but the conflict in Afghanistan, that was seen as oh, that's the good war. That's the good one back at that time.
That's the one that we were meant to do.
And I don't think Obama would have started a war in Afghanistan apropos of nothing.
Right.
I'm just saying.
In Mr. Trump's 4 years in office, he started no wars despite enormous pressure from his own party and even members of his own administration.
I mean, he did try, to be fair. He did kill that Iranian general.
That's right.
Didn't work out, but it could have been a war.
Yeah, I remember. And there also was the day that Donald Trump became president, famously. That was, what did he bomb then? That was something in Iran. No, where was that? What was the day he became president? Oh, come on.
January 20.
No, the day you guys, okay, that's it.
He became president of the United States in that moment, period. There are a lot of people who have a lot of reason to be frustrated with him, to be fearful of him, to be mad at him. But that was one of the most extraordinary moments you have ever seen in American politics, period.
Speaking of things that age really well.
He did something extraordinary. And for people who have been hoping that he would become unifying, hoping that he might find some way to become presidential.
This is what happened in
Trump. They
Trump
should be
1.
happy with that moment.
This was 5 days in.
For people who have been hoping
Yeah.
that maybe he would remain a divisive cartoon, which he often finds a way to do, they should begin to become a little bit worried tonight.
Oh.
Because that thing you just saw him do, if he finds a way to do that over and over again, he's going to be there for 8 years. Now, there is a lot that he said in that speech that was counterfactual, that was not right, that I oppose and will oppose.
Yeah.
But he did something tonight that you cannot take away from him. He became president of the United States.
He became president of the United States that day. So I see your age badly and I raise you.
Wow.
70. I go all in.
This
is the day that Donald Trump became president. This was mocked for like the entire time since then. I feel like I was crazy that you guys haven't heard of this.
I think mine's like a protective mechanism that my brain has shut out certain things, maybe.
It's so good. And so then Megan Amram would tweet, this is the day that Donald Trump became president. Like every single time something dumb would happen, like something he would do.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And that was apparently after that raid in Yemen in which a US soldier died. And he'd said some presidential stuff.
Yeah, because if you send just a young man to their death, but then say presidentially things about it.
That someone else wrote for you.
You're the president, man.
Yeah.
You're the president.
All right.
Oh, it's incredible. Sorry. Okay. Just a little detour brought to you by
Van Jones.
I was making sure I wasn't in that Black Mirror episode where someone's changing things from under me. Where were we? Oh, yes. Trump's best foreign policy.
Yes. In Mr. Trump's 4 years in office, he started no wars despite enormous pressure from his own party and even members of his own administration. Not starting wars is perhaps a low bar, but that's a reflection of the hawkishness of Mr. Trump's predecessors and the foreign policy establishment they slavishly followed. But Mr. Trump did more than simply keep the peace. He brokered the Abraham Accords, a historic agreement between Israel and Sunni Arab states, providing the best hope of a long-term counterbalance to Iran. He began the long, slow process of decoupling the U.S. from its economic reliance on China. He opened diplomatic talks with North Korea after a half-century of stagnation, and he pushed hard, to much derision, for Europe to take more responsibility for its own defense, precisely so that the U.S. wouldn't be drawn so deeply and dangerously into a conflict like the one in Ukraine. A common critique of Mr. Trump, even from his ideological allies, is that he lacks, quote, statesmanship. Even people who like his policies wish he exercised more verbal restraint. Fair enough, but there's an implicit critique of America's leaders hidden below the surface of that accusation. Why is it that the people of the U.S. trains for leadership? Wait, what? Why is it that the people the U.S. trains for leadership are so careful with their words, yet so reckless with their actions?
I think that's implicit.
Why can't they be reckless with their words, too?
I just love the pseudo-intellectualism. There's an implicit critique hidden below the...
Just try and find a little gap.
You're just putting it there.
Yeah.
You can't...
Right.
You can't say it was there if you're putting it there.
Right. Why does America devote billions of dollars to recruiting and training its best young minds for leadership only to have those minds orchestrate one foreign policy disaster after another? The answer is that, from grand strategy seminars to the State Department, our entire notion of statesmanship is broken. For many, statesmanship means having a polite social media presence and throwing out slogans about, quote, freedom and, quote, democracy while starting world historic catastrophes in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. I prefer a different kind of statesmanship, one that stands...
that grabs them by the...
One that stands athwart the crowd, reminding leaders in both parties that the U.S. national interest must be pursued ruthlessly, but also carefully, with strong words but great restraint. Mm-hmm. Enter Pete Hegseth. Donald Trump's presidency marked the first real disruption to a failed consensus and the terrible consequences it wrought. That fact, more than any single accomplishment, is the enduring legacy of Mr. Trump's first term. But there is much more to do, and I'm supporting him for president in 2024 because he's the only person certain to do it. And he told me I get to be vice president.
Not yet, but yeah.
Well,
wow.
maybe he told him on the side. Who
that
knows?
aged very well.
Yeah.
But as well as anything we've ever read.
And it's with his signature smugness too. It's great when something so smug is so fucking stupid. Yeah.
And wrong. Just completely wrong.
Yeah.
Just wrong.
Absolutely demonstrably wrong. As of today, certainly. It was always wrong. But the idea that we're all ignoring his incredible foreign policy achievements when, I mean, the idea
of only bombing a few things and what, I mean,
and
if you want to say it's better than Bush, sure, yeah, it was better than Bush. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Great. Excellent.
Didn't kill a million Iraqis, sure.
Yeah, it's a low bar.
Yeah.
But we're working on it. We're catching up.
Wow.
All right. Well, are we taking a break?
Yes.
Well, let's take a break and then we're going to get to, boy, Matt, you are putting yourself through it. I don't know why you're doing this to yourself, but Matt has read allegedly a book.
Not one.
Wait, two?
Two.
I speed ran these
How
books.
did he have so many crayons?
So
he
this is the
run
first
out
time.
of crayons at a certain point.
Oh, man.
I'll just say right now, this is the first time that I've ever listened to a book on 2X, like a lot of it. And he was reading it to me because I couldn't take it.
Oh, man. 2X is my, I mean, I would have been at like at least 2.5 for this. I can't.
Hovering between 1.5 and 2 for most of it. Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, well, Matt died for your sins, everybody. And we're going to take a break and thank some patrons who are making the show happen. Thank you to Punch's Stuffed Monkey Friend, A Negative Phenomenon, No More Than a Foot Goat.
No more than
It's not a palindrome. It's just no more than a foot goat.
Right. We like our foot goats.
You got to fight for your right to ex parte. Jay Sank, David Souther, Vehicular Man's Laughter, reluctantly changing his blinker fluid. I'm forbidden to produce milk in Wokey, LA, and we only drink Diet Coke. Diet Coke. I don't know. Is that to the melody of something? Is like a song or something? But it's definitely
I don't know.
where there's woke reference.
Yes.
But I'm not 100% sure if that, it must be song lyrics that I don't know. Sorry. Proud to be one of the 3 chunkers. Today's episode is brought to you by The Letter and then Unreadable Thing, classic.
It's already classic.
Yeah, Cavalry. It's been like a month at least, maybe more. Thomas Freeman, Cajun Killa, Fraud Fishy Hates Everything, Chris Simpson, Gavelhead Chucking Away, Anonymous Aquila, Mark Schultz, Nuke, Hunt, Who Dis. Great. Super funny. It does have Nuke in it, I guess, at least. All right. Then we'll take a break and then we'll be back with allegedly a book written by Pete Hegseth.
2 books written by Pete Hegseth.
No, you're right. I already couldn't handle that, so I turned it back into 1.
Now it's 2. 2 whole books.
Okay, the War on Warriors, behind the betrayal of the men who keep us free. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
So
upside down American flag.
At some point, this would be a great book to like go into depth on where there's woke, because it's just about how woke destroyed the military.
Yeah.
And it's
famously woke place, that military, you know?
Yes.
They're just nothing but trans people and, you know, just all kind. They're just
everyone being too polite.
Yeah. You go there and everyone's just love bombing each other. There's no discipline. What the fuck are you talking about?
I will say in the introduction, Pete Hegseth does say very specifically, I don't want you to enjoy reading this book. And trust me, Pete, you got me. You're right.
Wow.
I guess that's one way to do it. Yeah. I'm trying to write a bad book.
Yes. You will not enjoy this. I did not. And it's really, honestly though, I mean, both of these books, I'm going to say the other one has an even more ridiculous title and cover. We'll get to it next, but these books should have been covered a lot more in his confirmation hearings, because there is, you can learn a lot about this man from the things he wants in writing, just like with Kristi Noem when we looked at the dog and goat killing stories that, the media covered, but like you just have to hear her tell the story. I mean,
she was so close to a dog and pony show, but
dog and goat show. So Pete Hegseth is reading this book to us, and I am going to start with kind of a warm up here because the chapters. Can you pull up actually the chapter listing, because there's some funny chapter titles in here too. But this is from the chapter about why he got kicked out of the military, why he resigned from the military. He has so many different grudges that come out in the course of this book. And Pete Hegseth, just to remind everybody, has a really interesting backstory. He's sort of a creature of empire in a way that I think every major empire has probably had this kind of a guy. where he has gone. I mean, just think about it. Just to very quickly give you the idea here. And I don't want to get his biography completely wrong, but just to give you the very quick version. He signs up after 9/11 wanting to defend the country, and he gets sent to Guantanamo Bay to watch people being tortured, basically. Mm-hmm. And then he gets disillusioned by that because he feels like we're not actually, and he has a lot to say, as we're going to hear, about the laws of war and how they don't work. And then he gets disillusioned because he goes to Iraq and he watches his buddies getting blown up by IEDs for no reason in a place we're not supposed to be. Okay. And then he goes to Afghanistan and he watches, he goes out to the further space. Like the only time he's ever controlled any kind of group of people was a small squad of people. And he's just again and again seeing that there's no reason we're supposed to be there. And he gets more and more disillusioned and drinking more and, gets more and more upset and more, burned out. And that's how we get Pete. I'm sure he was always a jerk to begin with. It sure seems that way.
But but it sounds like you're telling a backstory of like an anti-war,
Yes.
peacenik.
Yes.
So is he like, man, we're not doing enough war crimes over here?
That's why I wanted to listen to the book. Oh, he definitely thinks we're not doing enough war crimes. We'll hear about that at the next segment. But he basically, what I understood when he was being confirmed was that this is a man who wants to be very careful about how we use our troops because he thought all the idiots in D.C. were getting them killed all the time and sending them to stupid conflicts we didn't need to be in. So I did actually kind of believe.
Here are some of the chapter titles. I pulled that up.
Yes, please.
Chapter 2 is titled Extremists That Never Were. Chapter 3, Cowboys Led by Cowards. Mm-hmm. Chapter 4, The Left's Very Special Forces. The Deadly Obsession with Women Warriors.
Mm-hmm. We're obsessed with women.
Riot
warriors.
Shields and Real Racism. Supporting DEI. Supporting DEI means soldiers DIE.
That's like the Onion version of this book. That is like
that has to be written in crayon. There's no come on,
Matt. More lethality, less lawyers.
Yep.
That's gonna be good.
That's the best he could do for that one.
More lethality, less
Marxist adjacent military academies.
Yeah.
So
we're going to be hearing
fewer lawyers. So you
didn't, but can't count them for the English. We're going to be hearing from Chapter 6. The Army thinks the enemy ... is Pete. So this is the story of Pete Hegseth's tattoos and how they ended up getting him excluded from the inauguration. We remember the story because we talked about this in a way, and it's been around a bit. But I was interested because I knew the backstory and how he tells the story. Just like when you hear Kristi Noem tell the story of the dog and the goat, what does she have to say about it? What does she want us to hear in her book in her own voice? So this is his explanation. And anybody who knows these tattoos and knows the story will sense the problem here. Let's listen to a little bit here of Pete Hegseth telling the story of why he ended up leaving the Army.
Okay. All right.
And remember, he's supposed to be serving at the inauguration in 2020, which is just weeks after January 6th, when the Army is very concerned about possible extremists in its midst guarding Joe Biden. All right.
It's the Army, but not the D.C. National Guard. But what was the real reason my orders were revoked to help guard the inauguration? The question irked me long after leaving the unit. When I left it all behind. I didn't ask questions, I just got the hell out. But now, while researching this audiobook, I had to know.
Witness protection.
So I called a senior leader in the unit and asked him, "Sir, will you just give me the real reason I was not invited to Biden's inauguration?" There was a long pause over the phone.
You're just too damn handsome.
Then breathing.
Yeah.
Man,
breathing?
This must be bad. It must be what I thought.
He's masturbating?
The leader said to me, "Look, Major, I know with 99.99% certainty because I was in the meetings and on the emails." He paused again, as if that was all I needed to know.
What?
I wanted more, so I pushed. "Okay, sir, what happened?"
More than nothing?
Yeah.
"Okay, so you were not brought to the inauguration because they dubbed you an extremist." He stopped, started again, and then hesitated. "You were not brought to the inauguration because
again and then hesitated.
They dubbed you as a white nationalist and an extremist. You got flagged by 2 soldiers who had been trolling your social media. They saw your tattoo, and the tattoo was what they flagged you on." "I have many tattoos. Which one made them say that? This is outrageous." "Yeah, well, Major Hegseth, it is quite absurd. The cross on your chest was what they determined was what made you an extremist and domestic threat.
It was the white nationalist ones
that cross,
that did
it was determined, is a tattoo of a white nationalist extremist."
Oh, that's because it is.
"It's a Jerusalem cross. Did they even Google it?"
Yeah.
The Jerusalem cross represents Christ's sacrifice and the mission to spread his gospel to the four corners of the world.
Kind of.
There's one large cross in the middle and four smaller crosses on each corner. This was part of the coat of arms after 1203 AD and the 104-year reign of the Jerusalem kingdom. I got it after I saw it on a church while walking the streets of Jerusalem. It's a religious symbol, not a white nationalist symbol. Yet my detractors made the argument that I was a threat, a racist, and an extremist, not qualified to guard the inauguration. I was told that a few of my unit leaders tried to stand up for me, but it was futile. The D.C. Army National Guard leadership was clear. Block him. As was relayed to me later, they literally said, quote, Hegseth needs to stay the fuck away, end quote.
From D.C., yes.
Just like New York, Hegseth needs to stay the fuck away.
Just like New York?
But was this really about a cross?
Yeah.
Are we
Was
still
this
going, Matt?
really about one Christian man?
Well, let's take a
A
quick
Christian
look at his
man
tattoos.
with no history of doing any.
What did you say?
Yeah, let's take a look at his tattoos. We can go to the record here. So that is basically it. Now, that is not the whole story. That is not, and whether I think he knows that when he's writing this book and reading it, because we know that because the officer who gave him this information told the Associated Press, the Washington Post, I think in Reuters also. I was looking at different stories here, that was not the tattoo that did it. Let's take a look at the tattoos. We have the record here.
Okay, well,
Did he
here's
also
this
say
one.
that
This is the
he,
famous
you
one.
know, started, stopped, hesitated? Did
Hesitated.
he
Yeah,
explain
Started-
the way
no,
that he had that
stopped,
conversation?
Then started, then hesitated,
hesitated.
which is really, I don't think he's a reliable narrator. I'll be honest with you. Really, like he started, but stopped, then hesitated. How do you differentiate between a starting and not saying anything and hesitating?
Also, they're on the phone, aren't they? So
Yeah.
I'd like to
I
keep
don't
this
believe
image up
any of that.
as
Yeah.
little as possible. So let's just talk about this very
yeah.
quickly.
So sorry that Pete Hegseth is on your screens, folks.
Yeah.
If you're watching us
to
on
the
YouTube.
listeners, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thomas, would
Who's
you like
this?
to describe Pete Hegseth to the listeners?
Ugh.
Describe his muscles, please. No, don't.
So, I mean,
Gonna
he's
go-
got whatever that tattoo is, and then he's also got a flag with a gun as part of the flag.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and then some
that's
other
not-
dumb shit.
So we're going to look at the other tattoo in a minute, but this was just one of the tattoos that got him flagged. It's the combination. So the Jerusalem cross, by the way,
Right, it's the combination.
he's inviting you to Google it, but when you Google it, you can see it is a very well-known white supremacist symbol because it is a Crusader cross. It is like,
Yeah.
and as we'll find out, he's all about the Crusades. He really, really likes the Crusades specifically.
Even in his own telling, me not knowing much about this, he's like, it's totally normal. It's from, the 1200s when we wanted to spread Christ's message to the four corners of the earth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's chill.
And killed
Never
anyone
mind.
in our way
Yeah.
that
Right.
wanted to prevent us from
I'm
doing
sure,
it.
I'm
Yeah.
sure, Pete, if there was a soldier who had an Islamic tattoo that was all about Islam and spreading Islam and the Quran to the four corners of the earth, you'd be like, yeah, no, that's cool. That's just cool times. It's just they're just celebrating their religion.
Well, I can tell you specifically, he has a tattoo that's an Arabic word meaning infidel, and
Yes.
it is tied to Islamophobia. Like there are biker gangs with this tattoo specifically, like that are not okay with Islam
I'm sorry.
at all.
You are so dedicated to your dumb bigotry that you're getting a tattoo in the language of the thing,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
people that you hate.
Yep.
That says they
That you
don't like
don't-
you.
yeah.
What kind of psychopath do you have to be to do something like that?
Yeah.
That is the weirdest thing.
Well, let's go look at the tattoo that actually flagged him because, again, the Jerusalem cross is an indicator. And you can see it looks just like the Iron Cross, the Nazi Iron Cross, but it is like a very well-known white supremacist symbol. But this other one, the bicep picture that I've also sent you, is...
Oh, thank God. There's a little bit less of Pete
Yes,
Hegseth.
can't
We
see
can
his face.
pretend that's on
Appreciate
somebody
that.
else, maybe.
And this is in sort of German script. It says Deus Volt. And so
Right.
this is a very well-known white supremacist thing. So in combination, you have alarm
It
bells
means
going
God
off.
wills it for
Yes.
folks who are listening that
And-
have not heard
yes.
that before.
And that's a very well-known thing throughout history of white supremacy and Christian nationalism. And so, again, remember, we're talking weeks after January 6th when there are people inside the United States government that have helped to coordinate a possible takeover of Congress in a violent riot in which people died. And so the military is very, very reasonably going through and thinking maybe we don't want every single person that could be showing up to guard Joe Biden.
And I think it's one of those things too where in any other context, Pete Hegseth is not going to have a problem with like law enforcement profiling people because of tattoos that they have on their body, right? Yeah. Like this is, it's an, you know, it can be unfortunate potentially.
For a nothing tattoo.
Yeah. I do think it's important to consider it's the combination of these two things. This was like really, really popular. It was on flags at the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville. These specific two images together, or the word and the image of the Jerusalem cross together. The president and executive director for the Center for Peace Diplomacy said that combination specifically is, quote, an invocation of the claim that Crusader violence and its atrocities, including the massacre of civilians, was legitimate. Yep. And so I think it's perfectly reasonable for someone to be concerned when they see that on a body of someone who's meant to protect the next president.
Or listen to him for 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah. When you hear more of this book, again, if you have read his book, that's a good reason not to let him go to the inauguration either. I will tell you that. But I will say that, it was very much like this one is a much bigger red flag than the cross, but as Lydia said, in combination. You know, again, this is not, there's a reason, again, he's crafting this the best he can to tell this story. And he is not mentioning the Deus Vult. He actually mentions Deus Vult later in one of his other books. He talks about what a great expression is. But he knows, he should know that was the thing that really did it, because that's what the commander, I think they put it in writing, but like the
and he for sure had that tattoo at that time.
Absolutely.
It wasn't like he got it after.
No, that was that was definitely in the pictures. And, you know, they're going through soldiers' social media to try to see if there's anything at all, like in the people they're screening that might flag them. And you've got known white supremacist, white nationalist stuff. And in this book, by the way, he basically says that it's time, he says that normal dudes have always fought and won our wars. And he makes it very clear. He says it explicitly. He means white men, straight white men specifically. Right. And he's very concerned that the army isn't recruiting enough normal dudes and that they're driving normal dudes away. And so normal dudes with Deus Vult and Jerusalem cross tattoos.
Very normal.
Yeah. And so, I mean, again, we're going to build a profile here, but you'll see the Crusader stuff is not subtle, like at all. He really, really likes the Crusades, and he thinks we should do another one, which is, as we're speaking, kind of what we're doing.
Who's we? I haven't done any Crusades, Matt. I don't know what
you're paying for one. So
I'm not a Christian, so I'm not part of the we that has done Crusades.
He also has a cross and sword tattoo, which he specifically says is it demonstrates the militant aspect of his faith. So, you know, like you put all these things together, Pete Hegseth, and you are obviously an extremist.
Make it Muslim and see how much you like it. Oh, well, this is the part this is the a suicide bomb that I have a tattoo on just for the militant part of my religion.
Right.
Yeah. No,
you would love it. You'd be big fans.
Big theme in his writing is that Islam is not a religion of peace and Christianity is. I mean, we have to go out there and spread the gospel with the sword.
And if you say anything else, I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
That's
right. Yeah, exactly.
Totally. No, and he was at one point not
Listen
that
here,
long
dweebs.
ago. He was not that long ago dragged out of a bar drunk screaming death to Muslims. Like he's, you know.
Oh my God. Wait, what?
He does that.
That happened?
Wait, I missed it. What?
He was screaming death to Muslims while drunk in a bar one night not that long ago. Not while he was defense secretary, obviously, but while he was. Allegedly, he's not been drinking.
Was there a video of that?
I think it was brought up during his confirmation hearing.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
All right. So that's just a kind of an introduction to Pete Hegseth.
I feel like that's a bigger deal than we're saying here. Which is somebody's like death to a particular religious group of people. Imagine if it were death to Jews, how much a lot of people would react to that.
Well, I mean, all of his buddies apparently were doing that at Unite the Right. You know, they had the matching tattoos. So I don't know.
Tattoo buddies. That's right.
This guy's is bad deal.
All right. Well, let's go on to the next clip.
Yeah, sticking with this book though.
We done with that selection?
Selection, yes.
Yeah, that's all we need there. That's more than enough.
All right, where do we go from here?
All right, now we're going to talk about Pete Hegseth's views on the laws of war, just to get a little more relevant to this show. I thought this was interesting because he said some really weird stuff about how much he hates the laws of war. Let's just play a couple of those clips. We've got some YouTube clips here of Pete Hegseth talking about, you might have heard some of these, but I think hearing them back to back is especially helpful.
All right, let's see what he's going to say here.
Restoring victory and clarity as an end state. Restoring intentionality to the use of force. So at your direction, Mr. President, the War Department is going to fight decisively, not endless conflicts. It's going to fight to win, not to lose. We're going to go on offense, not just on defense. Maximum lethality, not tepid legality. Violent effect, not politically correct. we're going to raise up warriors, not just defenders. So this War
Warrior
Department,
poets, more like.
Mr. President, just like America, is back. Thank you for restoring victory.
It cut off,
He's got some bars there. He's around.
Wow.
He's freestyle.
Really?
Spitting bars.
Yeah. So
Cool.
tepid legality. Lethality, not tepid legality. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
So is he just wanting to drop like a nuclear bomb everywhere? Like just, that maximum lethality, and who cares about laws? Who cares about, anything like that? Like just end it, get it done.
Yeah. And because anything in the defense of basically, once we're in a war, not putting anybody at risk and just like taking out anybody we possibly can. He complains a lot in one of these books about how the Biden administration had been very careful about killing civilians. He thinks that's a real problem.
Oh,
we might hear some of that, but yeah. So that announcement, by the way, there's in the
wokists.
There's in the White House when he's talking about the Department of War. He does say in the book he thinks it should be the Department of War, not the Department of Defense, because that's what it's for. It's for waging wars, not for defending us. So let's hear one more quick clip here. This is in the context of the more recent conflict.
Like so many of our traditional allies who wring their hands and clutch their pearls, hemming and hawing about the use of force. America, regardless of what so-called international institutions...
That's just a lot of props. That's a lot of like coordination. I was just thinking they're wringing their hands, clutching their pearls, and hemming and hawing.
Yeah.
That's like a tap your head, rub your chin, like
too many
infinity.
Stage directions.
Yeah, I can't do it, Pete. I can't. I'm trying. How do you hem and haw? Ha. Is that hemming and hawing? This is hard.
Not when I'm clutching my pearls. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I know. I can't clutch my pearls and wring my hands
and make those noises.
Yeah.
You have to use your feet for one of them, I think.
Pete, I'm only hemming and hawing because of how hard this is.
I should say is unleashing the most lethal and precise air power campaign in history, all on our terms. With maximum authorities. No stupid rules of engagement, no nation-building quagmire, no democracy-building exercise, no politically correct wars.
Just kill everybody.
We fight to win, and we don't waste time or lives.
Wow.
Unlike
guys, I'm tired. Like that is a parody of anti-wokeness that I wouldn't have accepted it. It would have been too dumb as a parody. If someone was like, I've been like, yeah, that's a little too like you're going too far with your joke. End these politically correct wars, everybody.
What is a politically correct war? Like, give me an example.
Have you already forgotten that supporting DEI means soldiers DIE?
Yeah, DIE.
We've forgotten the lesson already.
I still wouldn't call it a politically correct war.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to show that it wasn't a politically correct war, we kicked it off by bombing a girls' middle school. And it's just horrible stuff. I mean, he's talking about precision and lethality and not being politically correct and just wiping it out, apparently on really old information or something. We still don't have a good explanation for this.
Wow.
Yeah, it was old information. It wasn't AI. There's been a lot of coverage of that. Just incompetence, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah.
Because he fired the JAGs. Right? I think he's also, part of it is that he's gotten rid of enough people that I think that somehow was part of it. Like,
that's got to be relevant.
Not enough people reviewing, looking this over.
Oh, like actually reviewing intelligence and stuff.
It's hard to want to bring down the show, but since you mentioned it, that's fucking atrocious and we are the bad guys. Like, I don't understand
unequivocally
how people in this country can go around thinking we have some moral high ground when we bombed a school of children and killed, it's like 150 of them, right?
I think just under that, 135 or something, I think.
I don't folks, imagine how you would feel if that happened to you. Like, just imagine how you would feel. Don't you think, like, I always think this, I would become a terrorist. Like, I don't know why people have this idea that you can bomb terrorists out of existence. Like,
no, you just create more.
You kill my children, I would be a terrorist. I don't even need whatever religious stuff. Throw that in too. Maybe that helps. Maybe lubes it up a little bit. But it's a joke. Wouldn't you hate any country that did that to you? And think about and we've done this times a billion. The drone strike, even under Obama, is one of the probably the worst part of Obama's administration. Like a lot of that stuff was done under Obama too. Like droning, innocent people. And then there's one story I remember where it's like the guy's trying to even get like money to bury his family that were droned, and that was a struggle. Like we've been doing this shit forever, but this is particularly bad. I can't imagine thinking we have any moral high ground here whatsoever.
Yeah. But plus this kind of recklessness, unfortunately, I mean, just think about on the other side of it, the U.S. soldiers that now know they have to live with knowing that even though they were following orders, that they killed all those kids. That's just like, we should not be putting people in this position. So we are going to, I was interested to know from these books. I mean, I don't know how much you can actually learn about the inner lives of people who don't have inner lives, but these are Christian Home and Pete Hegseth. But you can learn something in the same way that I love reading Supreme Court biographies. Like, I mean, I've read several different books about Clarence Thomas just to try to understand the guy. Like, how did he come out that way, right? And I think that Hegseth is a really interesting, as I said, sort of psychological portrait of a man who is a victim of our empire. I think he was probably an asshole to begin with, but he's been through quite a lot on our behalf. And, this is the conclusions he's reached. But one of the things that I thought he had reached, one of the conclusions I thought he'd reached, was that we should be careful about how we use the military. And clearly that is not a lesson that he has learned in his life. This is super reckless, everything we're doing right now. So I'm going to listen a little bit here too, because I was particularly interested legally in what he's saying about how he doesn't care about the laws of war. As Thomas mentioned, he fired a lot of the senior JAGs who were supposed to be advising and signing off on targets and analyzing this stuff from a legal perspective, and that was one of the first things he did. You mean the
tepid legality, Matt?
Tepid legality.
He fired the Department of Tepid Legality.
Yeah.
Get rid of those suits. Who needs them?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to hear a little bit about him talking about his opinions about the laws of war.
Just tired of them naysaying and saying don't bomb schools. Like, don't bomb school. Fucking politically correct.
This chapter is the laws of war, for winners.
Oh.
This is how you win wars.
11.
They're unironically just saying the bad things, but unironically for that, like when you say like, oh, history is written by the victors, you usually mean that like kind of in a negative way, like it's kind of it's going to be a different version of the truth, and they're like, no, history's written right. Yeah, let's do that.
We're the winners. Yeah.
Yeah. We get to do whatever the F we want.
So
chapter,
boy. Let's see here. So chapter 11,
6 minutes,
6 minutes.
Get a taste here.
Oh, Matt, I'm mad at you. Me and the Seagulls are mad at you for this. I'm never going to forgive you.
To act, end quote. Jus ad bellum, established in the UN Charter after World War II, lays out the conditions under which states may resort to war. It's how you go to war justly. Once the firing starts, modern countries are directed to follow the laws of war, referred to as jus in bello. This is how you fight war justly. It was supposed to be a global remedy, a rule book, to end senseless violence. Before you break glass for war, jus ad bellum asks, is this a just cause? Do you have the right authority? Do you maintain the right intention?
Okay.
Is there a reason for the chance of success? Will you display proportionality? Is this a last resort? Then, once you are separating meat from bone in battle, once the carnage has commenced, jus in bello asks, are you fighting with proportionality? Are you discriminating between civilian and military targets? Are the objectives strictly military? World War I was so brutal, so unabashed, there was a clamoring for some formally imposed restrictions on what countries could do to each other. The Geneva Conventions became a jus in bello international law of sorts, limiting the barbarity of conflict between nations.
You're being lectured by the fucking dumbest kid in class.
Uniform,
right
honor
now.
A chain of command. The conventions post-World War I established what would happen if you surrendered on the battlefield. The conventions signed at Geneva were to make humane what was never thought of to be humane: warfare. With rules in war, if you wear a uniform and surrender, all your soldiers will also put down their rifles. More lives are spared.
Oh, your soldier? Wait, what?
If you wear a uniform, you don't fire on civilians who are not in uniform. More lives are spared. And if you promise to protect soldiers who surrender, more soldiers will be incentivized to not fight to the death. More lives are spared.
This is bad, yes.
The problem with international law, of course, is that there's no such thing as international police to enforce it.
So who cares?
The key question of our generation, of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, is way more complicated. What do you do if your enemy does not honor?
Yeah, that's why famously those Nazis hanged themselves after World War II.
So he's basically saying like this has good intent, but there's no promise that people are going to follow it, so don't do it either.
Yeah,
so what he's getting at?
The thesis very much of this book and the next one is that we are up against an enemy that has no respect for human life and doesn't give a shit about the rules.
What the fuck enemy are you talking about?
It's the one he made up. He's got a cartoon version of the left and he has a cartoon version of Islam. And his one of his theses, and I think in the other book is that one of his theses is that everything you've heard about Islam is wrong.
One of the idiot scrawlings that he did.
One of his presumptions is that the majority of people who practice Islam are actually super violent and not peaceful people. So we have to start from that starting point. Now, it's weird because he's talking about how World War I, in which the rules were out the window. There were no rules. I mean, we invented chemical warfare. We used it in a way that has never been used. But again, people, like everything, it was just like the most brutal, horrific industrial
probably
battle.
The worst thing to ever happen.
Completely pointless on top of that.
Awful.
And so he's saying, we invented all these international rules after that, but now we've got an enemy that doesn't respect them the way that, I respect them, Pete Hegseth, even though he's going to tell you he doesn't respect them at all. So he's going to be justifying, and a lot of this is all fascism, of course. Fascism requires you to throw the rules out that window and say that we're in a state of exception and that our enemies are awful and we have to behave like them.
But does he really just speak in a general sense, or is he talking about a specific, it's just weird to me to be talking about an enemy and rules of war when we're not at, what war is he talking about?
Yeah.
Well, he's
just in general or next one?
He's talking about Islam. That's what he's really talking about. He's saying basically this was all good and nice when white people were fighting each other. But now, we have to deal with this, these barbarians. So let's listen a little bit more. You'll get a bit more of a taste here. I just want to set that up.
We asked it all the time, especially if we want to win. And for all the briefings, PowerPoint slide decks, and
Tucker
lectures,
Carlson.
It was never clear.
It's that Fox News.
Wow.
We never got an answer.
Lesson. Yeah.
Only more war, more casualties, and no victory. Should we follow the Geneva Conventions? Yes. What if we treated the enemy the way they treated us? Would that not be an incentive for the other side to reconsider their barbarism? Hey, Al-Qaeda, if you surrender, we might spare your life. If you do not, we will rip your arms off and feed them to hogs.
What?
Keep your
Makes me
sexual
wonder,
out of this, man.
In 2024, if you want to win, how can anyone write universal rules about killing other people in open conflict? Especially against enemies who fight like savages, disregarding human life in every single instance. Maybe instead, we are just fighting with one hand behind our back, and the enemy knows it. This is a big reason there hasn't been a war declared globally since the 1950s. And quite frankly, why America hasn't won a war since World War II.
Because we follow the rules. That's why.
If the world cannot agree on principles of honor or morality, how can we ever prescribe global terms of fair war? Land warfare, historically understood, is defined by how many people you can slaughter in one space at one time. Limiting the will and capacity
but just
of your
imagine.
enemy
I just want you to
fight.
imagine it.
Same goes for bombing, missiles, and drone strikes.
What are we doing?
Just a different delivery memechanism.
Yeah,
war will never be anything but hell.
That's the goal now.
As long as human nature stays deceptive, vengeful, and angry. Much to the chagrin of utopians and progressives, human nature has not changed and will not change. We are flawed. We are sinful. Men will always fight other men.
God,
Many efforts to
dark.
curb the bloodlust on the battlefield have been attempted. The Kellogg-Briand Pact of 1928, which was essentially betrayed hours after the ink dried on it, tried to assure that nations would not use war to resolve conflicts. It did nothing to prevent World War II, yet was used to sentence Japanese and German soldiers and officers to death in the aftermath of the conflict that it had so egregiously failed to prevent. Article 51 of the United Nations made war legal only if you were attacked. The escalation of that war was left TBD, to be determined. Illegal wars continued, and violence still escalated. If our warriors are forced to follow rules arbitrarily and asked to sacrifice more lives so that international tribunals
is that
feel
end
better
of
about
list? Here's my examples. They're from fucking 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's why today we shouldn't have to do rules.
Murder has been outlawed for a long time and people just keep doing it. So what's the point?
I guess, what's the point?
Why are we prosecuting murder? Yep. I remember a couple of things. This is a man who got his political career started not only through Fox News, but by advocating for war criminals. It's something to keep in mind as you're listening to this. That not just speaking out for soldiers who are wrongfully accused, but people who were bona fide war criminals whose peers, so Eddie Gallagher, so
awful.
People the rest of the unit is backing away slowly.
Turn them in.
Yeah, right. And he's all about it. Also, Clint Lawrence, I wanted to mention, and Green Beret Major Matt Goldstein, who murdered 300 Afghan men who were walking away with their hands up.
Oh, wow.
And crowing about it. People that were just committing murder because they could. And Pete Hegseth went to bat and convinced Trump that he could pardon all these people and make sure they didn't get prosecuted. Pete Hegseth, also remember, the person who's reading this book, one of the first major uses of military power was to just start hitting fishing boats in the Caribbean, right? This is all I can think about when I'm hearing him talking about this, about how we have to throw the rule book out because of these barbarians and these horrible... what?
This sounds like a dude who would yell death to all Muslims and actually try to... he just wants to kill all Muslims.
Yeah. No, and he wants an excuse.
He wants...
If you are talking about crusades and you have Crusader tattoos and you are pardoning people who are literal murderers, you're advocating for people who just gun down innocent Muslims. I think that means you just are a fucking racist who wants to kill all Muslims. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
He's doing this in the name of Christ.
I don't need your tattoos, actually.
You're is in the Crusades. Awful. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we can... there is more here, and we don't need to keep going, but you'll get the idea. But he's basically just talking again about how both domestic restrictions and international restrictions on war are pointless, and how we just need to do whatever we're going to do to protect our people. So this really is a good sort of view into his I guess I'm going to call it thinking. But this all, I don't know how much of this came up at the confirmation hearing. Now, in his other book that we're going to get to after the break, he goes on about his domestic enemies and about the left, and of a super cartoony version of the left. Everything he says about the left would apply very well to everything that's going on in our government today, about how this is, these extreme ideologues are running everything and forcing their will through. And how I think at one point I wrote down, they are dangerous idiots and they are in charge. Amen. So I think, you get the idea. We can keep going on this, but I don't think we really need to. He's complaining about how
he's
Biden
a horrible
was
person,
trying not to kill civilians, and he really has a problem with that. And how we have to just let our war fighters do whatever they're going to do to get the job done, whatever that job is.
Well, we'd better, I guess, take our third break, right? And then we can get to
a few more
of this aspiring genocidal maniac here. Yeah. Cheery stuff. But you know what is cheery stuff? It is our patrons. And we've got to thank our final third here. Thank you to the Cincinnati Kid, Bob Loblaws Law Podcast. Philly Basement Bar will be getting a new house rep in the midterms. Elect Thomas Smith, President, American Honky Tonk Bar Association. Baltic Catay, Philip Kaiser, to the tune of My Hero by Foo Fighters. Here we go. There goes a hero. Watch it as he throws. There goes a hero. Ham and turkey. Ham and turkey. Yeah, I don't want to do the whole thing just because, it's too showy. But yeah, okay. I like it. Ham and turkey. Cornland, a string of unpronounceable characters. Maleka Chandler, RhondaTheDork.com. Milo Meadsong is fighting petty tyrants. Big Easy Blasphemy. Hors d'oeuvres in the court before a report. Chris Waltrip, Fred Arguthius, Sam Denau, Classic Libtard, and Mitchell. Thank you so much, top patrons. You are the best. We'll take our last break here, and then we'll hear more of Pete Hegseth.
I've saved the most psychotic for last.
Oh, good.
Joy. All right, Matt. Oh, wow. Subtle.
And you'd love this cover.
Now, did this one come out after or before the other one?
This is 2024.
Before.
The last one was 2020.
Switch, Matt.
Oh, Switch. I'm sorry. Yes, I
Yep.
love it.
I was going to say, this looks older to me.
Yeah,
this
is
Sean Hannity.
You're right.
This is 2020. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And the other one was him campaigning to be Secretary of Defense. So,
that's right.
Yeah.
What's that tattoo on his forearm? McDonald's? McDoccupy? What is that? Some Latin crap or something? I think it'd be really funny if it was McDonald's.
It's on his forearm?
Yeah.
It's just to describe it. Yahweh, of course.
Is it that one? I'm looking at his whole list of tattoos.
Starts with an M. It says MDCC.
Oh,
what year?
Let's
Sounds
see.
like a Roman numeral year.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not
Just
sure.
so many tattoos.
Yeah.
I don't see it there. All right.
Classic trying to flex while holding a flag look. I love that. Yeah.
So we've got
totally
Pete
natural there.
T-shirt and jeans, waving a flag, looking very resolved with his tattoos on display.
Mm-hmm.
American Crusade. This is the book we're going to be looking at now.
Our fight to stay free. Who the fuck is trying to make us not free? Who is it? I know I asked it before, but like they're not. There's nobody.
Professors.
There's nobody at our gates. There's nobody. We're not being invaded. There's nothing. Yeah. Just fucking chill, man.
From
this
within.
is about the enemy within. This is the left is working tirelessly day and night to destroy America. He really talks like this.
To let trans people exist.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And he talks about how we are a nation that greets newcomers with a statue of liberty, not a statue of Lenin. That's a great line there, Pete. Basically.
Yeah, but that also doesn't work because now you don't even want the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. Right.
They don't even believe in that. Like, they don't want any of that.
That stupid poem. Who needs it?
Right. You want me to hit play?
Yeah, let's look at this. So then we talk about his crusade. We're going to listen to a little bit of this, and then we'll do the next one.
Once again, citizens of this country cannot naively hope that oceans will hold back the cultural invasion. The invasion is not just at our shores, it's in your community and schools.
Oh, wow.
Arming yourself with facts is not against the law, and neither is speaking those facts to those in your community.
We never said
Protecting
it was.
American culture is not racist.
that
Questioning the fruits of Islam is not Islamophobic. Demanding assimilation is not xenophobic. Condemning Islamism and its cruel worldview is not only right, it's essential for freedom's survival.
Oh, wow. It's not only right.
Yeah.
Our crusade moment. Our present moment is much like the 11th century. We don't want to fight,
if you want
but like our fellow Christians 1,000 years ago, we must. We need an America.
That's the takeaway. Here's how it's similar to the 11th century. We don't want to fight, but they're making us do a crusade. They made us go do a crusade. We had to. Hands were tied.
Yeah.
What is he talking about?
Crusade. We Christians, alongside our Jewish friends and their remarkable army in Israel, need to pick up the sword of unapologetic America.
That is really interesting right there. To think about who the we is. Like, it's rare that someone just says it. Like, we, like, he's literally saying that the we is the Christians. And then I guess, if you're Jewish and you're with us, okay, you're like a second class of citizen. That's who it is. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. He's not saying Americans. He's saying we Christians.
Yep.
And some Jews. That's how he goes.
Defend our like our fellow Christians 1,000 years ago.
I have to point out that the first crusade, they completely got their asses kicked by the Turks. Like, they completely lost. So I don't know if that's really the 11th century is the one you want to go for.
They also massacred Jews in the first crusade.
Well, it's because they made them do it. Like, they didn't want to be there. They're like, I could be doing other stuff, but like, they made me do a crusade. Like my heart wasn't in it. I
find it like pretty disgusting that you're going to bring up the first crusade and say, us Christians and our Jewish, compatriots and stuff, we have to do this much like in the 11th century. Oh, you mean when you killed a bunch of Jews for no reason, just because that you view them as enemies of Christianity.
And Muslims. Let's be fair. They killed a lot of Muslims too.
Oh, of course. I'm just trying to say, like,
to be fair, they killed a bunch of Jews. It applies in any century.
I know, but I'm just trying to say, like, this allyship is disgusting.
Like bringing, like, specifically calling out Jewish people into it.
Yeah.
We need an American crusade. We Christians, alongside our Jewish friends and their remarkable army in Israel, need to pick up the sword of unapologetic American.
Our Jewish friends and their remarkable army in Israel. So he's not even talking about just Jewish people. He's just talking about Israeli people, right? Or he's saying that all of the Jews are in on it. Like, they're all the Jews are part of Israel and they have an army in Israel. What a sloppy, racist way to write.
And defend ourselves. We must push Islamism back, culturally, politically, geographically, and in the case of evils such as the Islamic State, militarily. The first step in this crusade is to have the courage to be intellectually honest about the enemy. Islamists haven't stopped, and they will not stop, unless we fight back. So-called tolerance smells like surrender to Islamists, because it is. Jesus did tell us to turn the other cheek, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't advising a Secretary of Defense at the time. Okay. People can slap me on Twitter because of my faith, and I will turn my head and smile. But bring a sword onto my property, into my community, and threaten my culture and country, and I'll turn on you with every weapon at my disposal.
He's talking about going to their property, but sure.
Leftism has made us passive. We can't even imagine, as people did 1,000 years ago, raising a sword and carrying a shield with a cross. or an American flag.
Why
on
would
it.
you do that?
There are millions of
fuck are you
Islamists who
talking-
believe they are in a war with us
You're right,
and
Matt.
are willing to
This
die for
this
that
should have
belief.
been
They teach their kids that suicide bombers are heroic. They are willing to kill for what they believe. Christian communities
Unlike
in the Middle
you.
East are dying by the sword.
Who's writing a book about
Christian
killing for what
nations
you
in
believe.
Europe are dying a death by 1,000 cultural cuts.
Oh, fucking God. Dude.
At what point do we face reality and deal with the fact that American and Christian culture is under attack and the outcome is far from certain?
So, yeah, this
America is the greatest country.
I don't want these people in my country.
No. This book should have been
pure
played
evil
in its entirety at his confirmation. They should have just made him sit through all of this and just justify it. I'm sure he would have loved it. But a little bit more. Let's listen to the last chapter just so you can really, just in case there's any doubt about who this guy is. Maybe not.
We need to just we need to make this not acceptable again. I don't know how we do it, but polite society needs to come back. And what polite society should mean is not racist pieces of fucking garbage like this. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's gonna get worse.
It's truly, I don't want to be near this fucking creep.
Yeah.
No.
What a hateful bigot. You don't speak for me. It's not an American crusade. Fuck you. You're a racist piece of trash.
Yep.
We can't be like this. We've got to stop this. And the seagulls agree with me.
Loudly. Yeah, let's listen to a bit of the last chapter.
That's their version of snapping. The seagulls are snapping.
Yes.
He's really going to double down on the Crusade thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
13.
going to take it from the top of chapter 13.
Okay, here we go.
You are about to embark upon the Great Crusade.
No.
General Dwight D. Eisenhower, D-Day Eve.
He meant World War II, not...
Chapter 14, Make the Crusade Great Again. Whether you like it or not, you are an infidel, an unbeliever, according to the false religion of leftism.
I'm that according to your religion.
Yeah. We have
Just
to get
like
tattoos
Islamism,
now, I guess.
You can submit now or later, or you can fight.
But I would have
Enjoy
to get
Western
it written in
civilization,
idiot, so I don't...
Freedom, equal justice under the law. Thank a crusader.
No.
Let's make the crusade great again.
Literally not.
From the beginning, 2,000 years ago, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ brought peace. His message was and is love.
But he was an idiot, so fuck
Statement in
him.
Matthew 10:34 reads, quote, "Do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword." End
Just
quote.
contradicting the thing you just
Was
said.
not a call to arms, but a reference to the discord Christians face when they express their devotion.
That was a metaphor.
Christianity spread through divine revelation, reason persuasion, human mercy, and evangelical travel,
However,
followed by centuries of deadly persecution of believers.
And then
It was not until the
Crusades.
4th century after
That's
Christ.
his version of why Christianity spread. We were just sightseeing.
Yeah.
We were just tourists.
Passport in hand.
We just talked.
Christianity spread through divine revelation, reason persuasion, human mercy, and evangelical travel, followed by centuries of deadly persecution.
And then
of
they were
believers.
persecuted, and that's how it.
It was not until the 4th century after Christ that the leader of the most powerful empire in the world converted to the faith, and Christianity picked up a sword. After the Roman Emperor Constantine the Great converted to Christianity in the 4th century, that superpower effectively became the Holy Roman Empire. Christendom was officially born. The Romans had built military might to advance their power, and now Christians were safe behind the empire's shield. Christianity had a military to defend itself.
The good old days.
Centuries later, the religion of Islam was born. Muhammad, its founder, was the polar opposite of Jesus. Muhammad was a warrior through and through. Islam did not bring peace, but instead gained power through coercion and war. Muhammad built and led a vicious army and slaughtered his enemies, promising paradise to his followers who
They
died.
didn't spread their religion nicely like we did. Are you kidding me?
He's making the point that Jesus, this is so weird. He starts out by saying Jesus is a man of peace, but also quotes him saying, of course, that I'd come not to bring peace, but a sword, which he did say. But that's a metaphor, but it's different when Muslims are doing it. And also it took the Romans 4 centuries to get around to being violent, I guess. I don't think that's true. But also, and then Muhammad just started doing it right away. So he's a lot worse. But also we should be committing violence in Christ's name. And we should do a crusade. Also.
Yeah, they're bad for doing that because we didn't, but we should have done that.
Right.
Because they're bad for doing that.
Right. And then when we did it, it was good.
Yeah.
So the Crusade, it was good. We should keep going a little bit more.
For Islam.
Yeah. God, this guy.
Islam never needed an army because Islam is an army. Since its founding, with almost no interruption, jihad fed Islam's expansion. Infidels like you and me had 3 options when encountering Muslims: to convert to Islam, pay a submissive tax, or fight to the death. Leftism also offers these 3 options.
Oh.
Since the 7th century and up to today,
where's my tax?
Islam has been on offense. By the 11th century, Christianity
what a weird,
in the Mediterranean
random
region,
sentence about
including the holy
leftism.
sites in Jerusalem, was so besieged by Islam that Christians had a stark choice: to wage defensive war or continue to allow Islam's expansion and face existential war at home in Europe.
He's not very familiar with
Leftists
European
of
history.
today would have argued for
obviously.
diplomacy, sending Sir John Kerry to Jerusalem to broker peace by playing guitar with James Taylor.
Yep.
We know how that would have turned out.
That's exactly what would happen.
The Pope, the Catholic Church, and European Christians chose to fight, and the Crusades were born. Pope Urban II urged the faithful to fight the Muslims, with his famous battle cry on their lips, Deus vult, or God wills it.
Callback.
The moment required followers of Christ to take up the sword in defense of their faith, their families, and their freedom.
And go
After
defend
centuries
it
of fighting, the
elsewhere
tide
in someone
turned.
else's place.
Christianity in
Yeah.
Europe was saved. Jerusalem was liberated, and Christians did not seek further war with Muslims.
Ever again.
During his time on earth, Jesus was a spiritual warrior. But 1,000 years after his crucifixion, his followers were forced to take up the sword to protect their families and in defense of their right to worship him freely and peacefully.
Yeah.
Contrary to what many leftist scholars and Democrats preach, Jesus never taught against self-defense. I'm not romanticizing
He's
the
actually into
Crusades.
jujitsu.
They were bloody and full of corruption, injustice, and unspeakable tragedy, especially against our Jewish friends. I've read the full histories of the Crusades. They were complicated, flawed, and anything but clear-cut. But the alternative, surrender, would have been horrific for billions of people around the globe.
I think that's what you call a false dichotomy. So you're saying, I'm bad at history, so please someone tell me if I just don't know something. But I'm pretty sure the word crusade specifically evokes something like not staying at home and minding your own fucking business. Am I wrong?
You don't crusade in your backyard.
It's actually, it's my home crusade. I'm a home crusade owner.
It's literally evangelical travel.
Yeah.
Right? With a side of murder.
Travel.
It's
armed travel.
just,
That's one of the best euphemisms I've ever heard in my life. When he's like, it spread through evangelical travel.
Yeah. Just a sprinkle
Sightseeing.
of genocide.
Yeah. I mean, this is like the false binary of, well, either we had to go somewhere and kill people or we'd be dead. We'd just be toast.
Or eventually they would come to us and do it to us.
Yeah, well, that could justify pretty much anything.
Again, do you enjoy Western civilization, freedom, equal justice?
I do love
Thank
those things.
a crusader.
No.
If not for the Crusades, there would have been no Protestant Reformation or Renaissance. There would be no Europe and no America.
What?
But even after being halted by the Crusades, Muslims never stopped fighting and expanding, both violently and non-violently.
Yeah, unlike all the Christians.
This is such a weird view of European and Christian history. The idea that only the Muslims, I mean, think about everything the Spanish were doing, like slaughtering Jews if they didn't convert, like all the same stuff, right? And then, of course, the New World, if we want to talk about, colonialism and everything they were doing to convert and destroy. I mean,
the evils that have been wrought everywhere else.
The one religious group or like demographic that I don't feel like was colonialist, at least over here. There's like French Canada. There's not like Muslimic Canada. There's not all the empire building was done pretty much on behalf of Christianity, right? In that time. I mean, pretty much all of those countries that had colonies and colonizing, they were pretty Christian. I mean, maybe there's some exceptions that I'm not thinking of, but I mean,
literally where you live right now, it's full of missions because that's how they got things going. But they set up the mission first.
Yeah, killed and
build the town.
Albeit a lot of it unintentionally through disease, but killed tons of natives and spread Christianity. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, well, Christianity minded its own business. I mean, its business is everywhere.
It was all defensive. Like anything it was doing was in its self-defense.
If you did a mission project in the 4th grade, thank a Crusader, because that would have never happened.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think they do mission projects anymore.
I hope not.
Yeah.
But this is all fascism because it requires
were there
us to be victims.
Ottoman colonies or something like here? You know, I'm trying to think. Like I'm so ignorant. I'm not.
The only
I can't think of anything like that.
The only thing I can think of is like the spread east but it was in relation to like business dealings. I don't know that it was necessarily taking over.
It was a big empire, but my point is not that any one side was all great and any other side was all bad. It's just his story is this victimhood narrative where Christianity was just like just minding its own business. Muslims were evil and always growing. And it's like, well, I'm pretty sure where you live, dude, is like, that's all because of Christians going and empire building and colonizing, right? I mean, I can't think of like a Muslim presence around this area of the world that
one of my favorite immigration facts actually is that I think it's from the Sudan or somewhere in northern Africa. There was one year in around like 1810 where there was one person who was recorded to have come over from this one country.
I remember. Yeah.
And he was a Muslim missionary and he gave up. He just like tried to do some missionary work in the United States and left.
Yeah.
And the one Sudanese immigrant.
That's so funny. Like in the record books, like that's just like.
I find that like really endearing, actually. Yeah, it is. Like
I'd watch that movie.
Like he tried and he was like, never mind.
Yeah. I hope that person was like rewarded handsomely at their own country. Like
he tried evangelical tourism, evangelical travel.
They make it look so easy, those Christians. Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Well, was there any more to this we need to hear?
I mean, you're getting the idea. I think we've heard more than we need
bangers.
to. Yeah. It's all hate speech, but he goes on to talk about how we need an American crusade and how Trump is out there standing in the way of leftism with his Twitter sword. So it's pretty lame. It's just very pathetic, the whole thing. But yeah, no. So this is who Pete Hegseth is. We knew this when he was confirmed that he wanted an American crusade, and that seems to be what he's doing right now. And he talks very openly about how we should do anything that Israel wants us to do. Also, like that's a big part of the book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he's got his wish there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, we got the right guy in the right spot. That's right.
Yeah. That's right. Why do you need JAGs if you have Netanyahu just whispering what you should be doing and what you should be bombing?
Screening your missions. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, truly awful, disgusting stuff, Matt. I think you're dead on with your entire thesis statement here that this should have been. I know it was futile, but boy, we could go back through the hearing. I don't remember this being a focus, and this is disgusting.
I think some of the stuff about because he has some awful things to say about his fellow Americans in this book.
Women,
right?
Yeah, I remember the women.
That too.
I feel like that's what they focused on a lot was the women in the military thing.
Right.
But he basically talks about how the military needs to be ready to be used against half the country because like leftists are going to try to take over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, us. Yeah. And how like civil war is basically inevitable. He says in this book that like, I'm not saying we have to be violent, but like we have to be ready for it and let's buy some guns.
Cool.
Like, this is not somebody who should be.
Yeah, I'm not saying we have to be violent, but remember when we carried around a sword and shield? That was awesome.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine the good times.
What a fucking racist piece of shit. God, he is so much worse than I even thought. I liked him better when I thought he was just a drunk loser.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was like the most fucking racist drunk loser.
He's a drunk
and
racist
that's saying
loser.
something.
Yeah.
There's stiff competition for that one.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, this has been Vapid Response. Truly vapid in the most evil, racist way.
Dangerous.
But thanks, Matt, for listening to that so we don't have to, although you did. I am going to sue you for making me listen to 15 minutes of Pete Hegseth. So you'll hear from my attorneys. Write yourself an angry letter. And we'll go ahead and call it there. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, listeners. And we'll see you all for Rapid Response Friday over on the Opening Arguments podcast feed. And check out Gavel for some more fun, lighthearted, fun sandwich trial stuff. It's awesome.
Also, thanks, Lydia. You're welcome.
And thanks. I was getting there.
Okay.
I probably would have forgotten, but you didn't give me a chance to forget.
Because I didn't want to be forgotten.
Yeah. Thanks, Lydia.
You're welcome.
You didn't listen to the stupid book, did you?
I listened to as much of it as you did. So.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All right. Later, Crusaders.
Oh, God.
So dumb.
This has been Opening Arguments, produced by Thomas and Lydia Smith, with editing help from Peter Baird. The intro is by Thomas Smith. This outro is by Matt Cameron. Support the show at patreon.com/law. Contact us through Patreon or openarguments@gmail.com. Make sure to follow our Blue Sky @OpenArgs. But most of all, please share the show. Thanks for listening. Got the seagulls and they're on track.
Yeah,
now.
there you go.
Made it stereo. Get a good stereo
Very
picture.
80s
stereo image.
Flock of seagulls.
Don't say that around them. They hate that. These are real seagulls. They're not
posers.
Last time I mentioned that, they beat the shit out of me. Don't even...